Hey guys, my name's Ariana, and today I will be sharing the culture of volleyball with you guys. So I want to start off by defining the word culture and intercultural communication. So culture, that's when a group of people, they have the same shared beliefs and values, perceptions, is all learned throughout like generations and they're taught by one another. So that it is tied in through volleyball because we have coaches and they teach us their culture, and we learn through them. And then there's different volleyball programs that all follow different methods, and so like within each volleyball culture is a subculture within the teams. So yeah, we become families, and all the players and coaches are all united. And yeah, and so intercultural communication, that's when people within different cultures interact with each other. And so that's tied in through volleyball because people are coming from different backgrounds and places to come play together and to come share their value, like share what they have with volleyball, and they communicate throughout the game practices and with each other all the time. So the history of the sport goes back to 1895 when the game was first invented by a man named William G. Morgan. And so initially the game was it was meant to be like a mix between basketball, tennis, baseball, and handball. And so different aspects of each sport are tied into volleyball. So one of the early challenges that they had with the game at the beginning was that there was no official ball. And so people were struggling to play because a basketball was too heavy. And if they were to use just the bladder of the basketball, the inner latex layer, then it was too light. So they needed to find that balance of heavy enough to have a fast enough pace for the game and light enough so that it could stay in the air. So upon that was the creation of the volleyball. And so this is my artifact. It's from one of a club team that I help out where I coach every now and then, and it's local here. So within a volleyball, there's 3 layers. The first layer, that's the bladder of the ball. It's a latex layer, and it's made of similar material that of a bicycle tire. So the second layer is a cheesecloth material, and so that's wrapped around the bladder. And then the third layer is a leather outer layer. So that hasn't changed really. It's kind of like the same thing throughout all modern volleyballs still. The only changes would really be like different circumferences, weights, and just like the aerodynamic aspects of it with like different panels. Some have 18 and some have 20, things like that. This one I believe has 18. So volleyball itself has a lot of different aspects into it. So there's like certain words and terminology that we would use comes from the position and their rules that come with it. So the positions would be like hitters. So there's the outside hitter and the right side hitter. And so the right side hitter is on the right side of the court, the outside that's on the left side. So they're the pins and their outlets a lot because it's easier for the setter who gets the second touch on the ball to send the ball that way. So the hitter's main role and responsibility is to attack or hit the ball and send it over the net in an aggressive way, because the main goal of like any game is to win, and to win volleyball is you force the other team to make an error where the ball lands on their side of the court or they hit it out on your side of the court. So our hitter's role is really just to like score points, try to do their very best to make that ball hit the ground. So before the hitter, because they get the third touch, is the setter. So they're like the quarterback of the game. They control the plays, and there are certain calls and sets for each hitter, and they really have to understand the team. So within each team, their setter is kind of like the head. Because it's a family. So it's kind of like the mom. And there's different sets, and that's also part of like the different terminology. Some basic ones would be like the outside, like a 5 is high and out. Or like the middle, they'll get like a 1, and that's like a quick set. And the right side, they could get like a 9, which is like a 5, except backwards. So the setter is really just one of the most intricate parts, I guess, of the game, as they have to remember a lot of things and really run the plays. And without them, the team wouldn't, like, the play wouldn't be smooth. So they get the second contact on the ball. The first contact on the ball is made by the passers, the diggers, the defensive specialists, or DSs, and then there's also a special kind of defensive specialist, which is a libero. The libero is normally the best passer on the team, and they wear a different colored jersey, and that's to indicate that they are the libero. Because the liberos don't use subs, they run in and off the court as they please, as long as they stay within rotation. Normally, they go in and out for the middle blockers, who are the people, so you have your outside and your right side at the front of the net, and right in the middle is your middle blocker. They are another hitter, and they are another, like, attacker, but their biggest goal is to block the ball, to keep it over there to the first line of defense. And so that helps our DSs and our liberos a lot, because that's where we set our defense up. So with the DSs and liberos, their main role is to just get the ball up, keep it off the ground so that the setter can get it and to set the other player. So each play is consisted of 3 touches. And so to start the play off, the person on the opposing side would serve the ball from outside of the court. So they serve it from the end line into the court, and then that's when play has begun. So terms like end line, and that's just kind of like we have the sidelines of the court, and then the end line is just the outline of where it's at. And then some other terms that we have, like the 10-foot line, and that's 10 feet off the net, so that it's on either side. And then that's normally where, that's what separates the front row and the back row, that 10-foot line. Some other words we have is like ace. So if you were to get a service ace, you serve the ball and then you get the point. That's an ace. Or like kill. So you hit the ball and straight to the ground, nobody can recover it. That's a kill. Like, you killed the play. And then there's facials. So you hit somebody in the face. That's a facial. And then we also have pancakes. And that's not breakfast or anything. It's when one of the DSs or like a passer, they come in short for a ball and they pancake their hand like flat onto the ground, and then the ball hits it and comes up. So within volleyball, any touch really counts. There are technical things that people do to ensure that it stays in control, but in frantic moments like that, it's like even off the shoulder or anything, any touch counts as long as the ball stays in play. So within volleyball, there's like within the ball itself, there's different uses for it, and it all is based on like what you're trying to learn or even your age group. So for people like 12 and under, they use a lighter ball because they're younger and they're learning and everything, so they use the lighter ball to get more of the techniques down. And then when they hit their 13th year, because there's club volleyball, high school volleyball, college ball, there's recreational, sand, like there's different aspects to it. Each has a different ball. So the younger kids use the lighter balls. Outdoor balls would be lighter than indoor balls and stuff like that. Or if you were to use it for training, setter balls, since they need the strength to push it out to the pins, they would use heavier balls so that when they get to a regular one, it's easier for them to control the ball. So, like some stereotypes around volleyball is that like a lot of it, when people think of volleyball, they think of the uniform. So within women's volleyball, we wear tight jerseys and spandex, which is like also short and tight. So a lot of the attention is taken away from the game itself and brought onto the players. And so people are looking at the girls rather than the game. And so like it's something that comes from the uniforms but shouldn't really be there. Like I'd hope that like as we continue on, people would like continue to have like a greater respect for the game, because it is very intricate and it's hard to explain in a simplified way without going too far in, because there are different calls, different sets and touches and ways to earn points and tactics and strategies that go unnoticed because people are just looking at the spandex. So there's a lot of stereotypes there where the females are sexualized or Some people will be like, oh, you only play just for the attention, and that's not true. It's a very fun sport. It's a good workout, and it teaches a lot of teamwork capabilities, as it is a very communicative sport. There's 6 people on the court at the same time, and it's not a lot of area. You have to be disciplined in order to play competitively. So another stereotype around is that there's only female players, and that's very like false. Like, we have a men's Olympic team, and they're very good, and men's volleyball is so interesting to watch, and it's very like powerful even. And so within the sexualization of volleyball and everything, it also can like come off as like the guys who play are gay, and like that's not true. Like, they don't wear spandex or anything, which a lot of people think of as well. But it's just like the sexualization of the sport needs to be separated from the actual sport itself. So that's where a lot of the stereotypes within volleyball lay. And people also think that it's easy, that it's like a harder version of don't let the balloon touch the floor, but it's in a very simplified way, I guess, but it's a lot harder, and it's very fast and like a quick-paced game where it's not as easy as people make it out to be. So yeah, volleyball is just like a sport that I consider myself part of the culture of, as I've been playing for the past 7 years, and it has taught me a lot throughout my life, and it brought me here to SBS. And the ball itself should like signify like I look at it and I think of hard work and determination, and just like all the floorboards and everything it took to get to like where I'm at, and just kind of like the aggressiveness of the sport, but also like the harmony that it takes to play. And yeah, so this is my presentation of volleyball, and I hope you guys enjoyed.